y'all? It's Chocolate AMUN. I got you again. Nah, SHU, AMUN, SHU, SHU, AMUN. That is my new name. Just want to see if I catch you asleep. Don't worry about it, I ain't gonna do that too much. Just to remind you, you ought to get the chocolate thing out of your mind. And also, to give you a quick definition, SHU was a deity god. It was a real deity that, if you look it up, you find out that the deity was the wind god, the sky god. There's a lot more to it, dealing with nature. So, there's a time in your life you gotta ask yourself, when you talk to the ancestors, I don't know if you talk to the ancestors, I do, that I could have stayed with Chocolate AMUN if I wanted to, but it didn't fit me when I started indulging into the meaning. I didn't indulge into the meaning the first time when I received it. But this time, I indulged in SHU, S-H-U, SHU. Indulging into where it comes from, Egyptology, and the ancestors gave me the blessings. So, class is part 2. I'm not your deacon. I'm not your reverend. I'm not your minister. I'm not your preacher, your pastor. I'm not your scholar. I'm not your archaeologist. I'm not your astronomer. I'm not your mathematician. I am not your scientist. But I am your messenger. My opinions, my research, that I spew out this information for you. And this information of class is about Latinos are black. I left off showing you a DVD, basically giving you different parts about where Latin speaking people, and I broke down, just because you speak Latin doesn't mean you come from Spain. It also doesn't mean that you come from Africa either. But the deeper you go of learning your heritage, and I know a lot of you just seem not to, you just don't want to be African, you just don't want to do it. But the deeper you go, evidently, you will go back to Africa, no matter how much you try to escape it. You see, a lot of the information that you will see from the DVDs or from the videos is basically spawned off from 200 to 300, 400 years ago. Its origin, Africa. Remember, if we start talking about Sumerian texts, Babylonian texts, Kemetic texts, 3 different civilizations. We could also be talking about the Nubians, the Hittites, the Canaanites, and so on and so forth. All this is going up the Nile River in Africa. Get your pencils and papers. Write the information down. I don't want you to follow me. You already know. What I do want you to do is do your research so you can educate yourself. I'm just a messenger. I'm pushing the information out there so you can take it upon yourself when you're bored and you want something to do and start to do research. All this technology is all in the bits in the palm of your hands, or if you got a laptop or whatever electronically you got, or buy books, buy DVDs. Why? Because you want to cross-reference. Do not take the information and just take this information, and then you take the information and think, oh, I've got all the answers. No, don't do that. You always want to cross-reference anything you do. Because what happens is, later on, when you do that, and then you find something else that's going to bamboozle you, and you're going to get confused. That's why you always cross-reference before you make a decision on how you're going to do it. And this is why I always show y'all more than 2 and 3 different videos. Latinos, they're black. Let's get into that video. Remind you that the videos I show you is from different people with different opinions. Now we're going to show you Latin people who are brown skin, and they're going to give you their opinion. Let's get right into that.
Oh, I ain't gonna have no more Latinos. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings, African family. This is Bomani Tamba. I'm here with my good brother, Titus and Tyree. What's up? And we're here to talk about a very important subject, which is the African influence in the Americas, especially in so-called Latin America. You know, we have a situation where the majority of our people that were stolen from the African continent were brought to the Americas. That's South America, Central America, the Caribbean islands, and North America. All of it is considered the Americas. And all of our people are scattered along from north to south. Now, we have a situation now where some of us were conquered, or some of us were colonized, or some of us were stolen and brought to countries that, you know, these white devils, the British, the Spanish, the Portuguese, 3 main ones. So all of us speak their language in the Americas. Myself from Jamaica, English. You have my neighbors, Puerto Rico and Cuba, Dominican Republic, Spanish, Haiti, French. You have Trinidad, English, and so on. You have Brazil, Portuguese. And then you have different variations of us, very dark and very light, all black people. Now, one of the biggest issues I have is with a lot of these fake Latinos, you know, who don't consider themselves African. That's obviously, some of them are darker than me and you.
Right, exactly.
And, you know, I've heard one guy say, I'm not African, I'm not black, I've heard I'm Puerto Rican and Panamanian.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's sick and doesn't make no sense. It's just like me being from Jamaica and coming up with something that say that I'm not African, I'm English. There we go. As a matter of fact, I have some folks in England that I know, they like, I'm British. You know what I'm saying? Black, like straight Nigerian, 2nd generation.
Right.
You know? And straight African.
What really drives me nuts though is like when they practice the African culture as far as drumming or, you know, music or food or whatever, even some language. Like, you practice the culture, but you will not accept the African part of you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what drives me nuts. That's like the same with the hip hop guys now, not even respecting the origins of that being from Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's just, so if your bloodline is, you know, can be traced directly to the African continent, and then for you to just, you know, try to cut that off just because of colonial influence or the indoctrination that you undergo just going through the system of school or whatever in these countries. So you speak Spanish, but your cultural influence in your heart has been torn into two. So you might, you know, be self-destructive. You might have mental issues, you know, or conflicting internally because you don't know whether you want to deal with your European ancestry or your African ancestry. And this whole confusion has got, you know, lighter black people fighting against darker black people, all on the same country, in the same land, you know, amongst each other, and it's really madness.
Yeah, it's all racism and white supremacists. When you're looking at white devils that stole our people and brought our people to the Americas, you think of a situation where their whole situation of what they're doing was trying to control people. It was, if you just look at one word or one thing that they were trying to do, it's control. And still to this day, it's control. So even in a situation where you had so many black people in Brazil, where the white folks had to go import people, white folks from Europe, the same thing they did, I want to say, in Puerto Rico, Cuba, and other Spanish-speaking countries in the Americas. And that's why you have even more of a mix in certain countries that you go to. Like you go to Dominican Republic, it's just, it's like, it's still majority of black folks, and it's like a lot of times some of the black folks, you don't really see them in the main cities. When you go to some of these countries, but if you go into the outskirts, not but black people. I was in Costa Rica, and one of the sisters I met there, she spoke English, and I was like, why does everybody speak Spanish and you speak English? So she was educating me about a whole entire groups of black people in different parts of Costa Rica that speak English. She even mentioned a settlement of Jamaicans there that speak Spanish and English. I mean, our culture is there's so much going on. So the least thing that we need to do is fight and talk about, I'm not African, I'm not black, and I'm mixed. So when I was talking about these fake Latinos, I'm talking about some of these Facebook fake gangsters, haters who want to talk about Puerto Rican, Arawak, Indian, and I'm not this and that. Yeah, if you're light or if you're almost like white, and you're a Latino, yes, you're white. That we definitely understand. No one is trying to get you to be black. That's not gonna happen. But when you're talking about mixed people, it's like that's where I think the confusion is coming from. Some people say mixed people like they're this own unique race of people. I'm tell you something. If you were here where we are in Georgia, and majority of people who call themselves mixed, trust me, you'd have been getting lynched, or you'd be on that plantation working. You would not be a free person walking around. And in most cases, that's what defines you as being black. So you can run around and try to portray off, want to align with your slave master, want to align with the slave master that raped your African mother, your slave master that raped your black Native American mother. Because when people say that they're this kind of Indian and things like that, they have to understand that what you call Indian today is the Africans that came to the Americas before Columbus, before any white slave trader stole our people from the African continent. So yes, our people were here before, and so that's what you have. But it's still the same situation. The white man is raping an African woman. So really, it's you don't have a mix of race like some people say. Well, I'm Indian this, I'm African, I'm this, I'm that, and come up with all 10 different kind of things. And I'm like, no, it's Africans and Europeans. I'm not saying Europeans like Europeans are significantly mean white. Europeans saying that the majority of people that run Europe and in Europe are white people, and same thing as Africa. We know that not all people in Africa are dark-skinned black people. So back to the Americas. I know this is getting deep for some people, but
one thing I just want to say, you had the British, they were their own kind of evil, and then you had the conquistadors, and they were their own kind of evil. You had the British over here, like, oh man, we gonna rape them and pillage them and take their resources, but we gonna treat them like they nasty and dirty and not even whatever. Then you got the conquistadors. They like, oh, we're going to kill the man-child, but we're going to treat the woman like she's our woman now. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to raise the little kid, even though we're going to murder the would-be fathers or whatever, and, keep, mixing the bloodline or whatever. And now you can tell that it's if the queen over here says, no, we don't want to raise those savage babies, and then you got these merchant Jewish Spaniards, they saying, oh yeah, we're gonna make a whole new race of people, a whole new thing in the new world. You know what I'm saying? So it's got us beefing not only with language but with the policy that they was running since the 1400s, the 1500s, the 1600s.
Okay. Most Latins are black African people based on their roots. Now, I'll let you see that video. They give you 3 brothers, not brothers by blood. They give you their own perspective, what they know, who they spoke to, and what's going on now. How the European people, but before we get into the European people, we got to understand, which I'm going to get into the Moors. The next video clip, I'm going to show you the Moors, how the Moors conquered Spain for 600 to 700 years. And I believe, in my opinion, the Moors, when they went to Europe and conquered Spain and a lot of the European areas, they didn't come up with a barbaric type of attitude, because they gave them a refreshment. They gave them education. They built institutions in Europe. The castles that they don't want to show you in Africa, the castles they don't want to show you in Ethiopia, it's over there in Europe. They helped build these institutions to give them education. Understand? See, if we don't know this part of history, we can easily be confused. The Spaniards from Spain were conquered. So let's just put two and two together. When they became powerful enough military force, they came in their mind resources, rape, murder, death. And when they came back down here to the Americans, to these different islands, as you heard the three brothers was talking, they gave their opinion, killed off the men. A lot of the men was in the military forces anyway. Killed the men, took the women, and started breeding babies. So, remember, a lot of our African brothers and sisters were colonized. A lot of our brothers and sisters were taken. A lot of our brothers and sisters were forced. And also, even though we don't like talking about it, a lot of our brothers and sisters were sold by other Africans in the slave trade. So, the Dutches, the Arabs, Spaniards, all these people, even the Jews, don't let them slide out either. But we're dealing with Spain and dealing with the Latin language, because Latin people, not all of them, because I'm gonna show you some video that Latin people who identify themselves as being African. But let me stop you there. I'm not here to convince you, just like the brothers stated in the video. I'm not here to convince you to be African. If you don't want to know your heritage, that is your problem. That is your prerogative. If your descendant line comes from Spain, you are Spain, and you happen to be dark-skinned like me, because you could still be dark-skinned, and still, your father could be from Spain, he sleeps with a darker woman. The grandfather from Spain, he slept with a darker woman. Or it's just that your melanin carried it through. Your melanin was somehow came out in front, and you came out to be brown or mulatto or Creole or red skin, how you want, red bone as we call it in America. And you got features because your mother's black. Even though, I stated this before, you are what your father is. But you do have black blood because of your mother. But your heritage, lineage line comes from your father. Your father, you are what your father is. So this is it breaks down. This is why I tell you it's also going to be mixtured. And I told you in the first part how if your great-grandfather was from Spain, that's your descendant line. But doesn't mean you go direct to the line. No. Simple fact, because if your father is African, hypothetically, if your father's African and you come out and your mother is American, say your mother is from Spain and your father and your mother got together, you what your father is. It's just that on your mother's side, you come from Spain, but your language belongs to your daddy from Africa. Yes, you the mother, you are part of your mother and your father, but you will always come from your daddy. And this is how they look at it. And your blood tie will come from your father. You are what your father is. That's all you got to do is understand that. You can say, well, from my father. Once you say your father, everybody going to know exactly what time it is. And you'll sit there with my mother's peoples. They're descended from Spain. And then most people go, oh, okay. We see where you get that little Spanish thing going on. But then the minute you sit there and go, well, my father's African, they go, oh, that's where that tan came from. You see how they verbally want to use your skin color some kind of way? So, we're going to go into another clip. But this time, we're going to get with Spanish people who happen to be mixed. I want you to listen to their opinions and how they feel.
I remember when I first discovered what black was, and people kept calling people black. I remember like black, oh he's black, oh she's black. I'm like, black? They're not black, they're brown. They're dark brown, that don't make no sense.
Being proud of my African roots is something that I don't take lightly, and I embrace because it's part of who I am.
Nosotros queremos un mundo que decimos que tenemos un latino unidos, pero con el mismo tiempo tenemos que terminar la discriminación entre nosotros los latinos.
Estamos como estamos porque somos racistas entre nosotros mismos, entre nuestra propia gente. ¿Sabes qué? No nos apoyamos. I always feel like I'm never Latina enough because of my skin color, because of my hair.
I would just hear my family be like, oh, don't go out with somebody that's dark skinned, que no salga con un negro. Arregla la raza.
Dark skin in the Latino community isn't considered beautiful.
We've been colonized so poorly that we want to identify with being white so much, not all of us, but many of us, that we look down on dark skin.
Tú como negro latino tienes dos problemas. Primero, eres negro, te discriminan por negro. Y segundo, eres latino y te discriminan por latino. Eso es doble minoría.
I remember when I was a kid, I looked at myself in the mirror. Yo dije, esta nariz, estos labios que tengo yo, I'm ugly. ¿Sabes que yo era? Porque yo pensaba que yo era feo.
Tuve una compañera de trabajo que me enteré que a mi espalda se expresaba de mí como mona, la mona. ¿Sabes qué es lo más triste? Que ella era una latina. I know I always stress to my family whenever they say something like, they'll be like, Julissa, tú y eso moreno. And I'm like, we are the morenos. That's us.
Your parents are instilling in you that these European features are the most beautiful thing. The standard of beauty for them is blonde hair and blue eyes.
I think there's some colorism just across the board because we've been taught that lighter skin is beautiful. Since light skin and fair skin is being portrayed on all platforms like TV and media and all of these things, it lets me know that that's what they perceive as beautiful. And then you look on TV in the telenovelas, they don't look like me, ever. The only one I can remember is Celia. Algo que me pasa muy seguido es que las personas dicen, ay, qué bonita eres, para ser una negrita. Entonces, una persona negra no puede ser bonita.
Dark skin is beautiful, and it has melanin in it, and it doesn't age. We hate ourselves so much that we really don't understand how beautiful we are.
Que yo, por mi color o por lo que tú crees, tú no me vas a parar, que yo voy a triunfar. En lo que yo voy a hacer, yo voy a triunfar.
Embrace the beauty that is you, because most people are trying to look like you. They're going to get their hair curled, they're going to get tans, they're getting injections in their butts and in their lips. They want to look like you. So don't hate you, because everybody wants to look like you.
Si había una fórmula, yo creo que ya lo hemos arreglado. No hay ninguna fórmula. Tú como individuo tienes que enseñar a tu gente de ser orgulloso de ser lo que eres. Somos negros y debemos ser orgullosos de nuestra raza.
And it's okay to be brown and dark, and it's okay to have beautiful big lips and features like this. It is okay. It is more than okay, actually, because the world changes and moves in different rhythms. And right now, people want to look like us.
That's what I would say.
So that is okay.
That was a beautiful clip by Latin people who look just like you and I. Lips full, hair's curly, but they speak Latin and English. Did you recognize something? Did you recognize certain things in the clip? What did they say? Their parents told them the standard of beauty was white skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. So did you want to know where this prejudice comes from? Right at home. Sounds familiar? Right at home. Because Africans used to do it. Slavery. The slaves used to do it to each other. When the mother was raped and had a baby son or daughter, and she noticed how the master treated that baby a little bit more special. So to protect this child in her mind, she started saying, listen, you gotta do these things this way. See, this fear, this corruption for centuries indulged into the mind. Just because you speak Latin, slavery, all that was going on at one time. You just happened to be in a region, they spoke Spanish. The language was Spanish. That's the only difference. The slavery was still going on in those islands. Why do you think a lot of the islands, they speak Spanish? Come on. The slaves was there. And the slaves was treated horrifying. And as time passes by, when that master had a child, the child looked a mulatto, Creole, a light-skinned hybrid, all nearly white. They told that child, daughter or son, don't you socialize with those dark-skinned people. The beginning of the brainwash system. And to this day, 2018, you still do that today. You discriminate your own people. That's what you do. You discriminate your own people. You start off family first, and then it just spews out, and everybody learns, oh, don't be with that nigger. Don't be with that nigger. Don't be with that donkey. But I'm going to see y'all in part 3. Latinos, you black too. But I love the one that, when the sister says, oh, don't hate yourself. Because now they want to be you. See, it's coming out. The truth. Say in part 3. Latinos, you black. I'm SHU, I'm in Rob. See you there. curse. Break the curse. It ain't just Africans and Africans. Your language got nothing to do with it. You come from the race that was captured.